Welcome to episode 10 of AWS Cloud Practitioner Practice Exam Question Series on Exam Tips and Tips channel. I'll be covering question number 61 to 65 in this episode. Please like, share, and subscribe to get regular updates on new episode releases. Let's get started. Question number 61. A company wants to manage deployed IT services and govern its infrastructure as code templates. Which AWS service will meet this requirement? Please read the question and mark your keywords. I hope you've read the question and marked your own keywords. So if you look at the question, what we need a service that can be used to manage, deploy IT services and govern its infrastructure. All of this using infrastructure as a code templates. Now, before we jump into the options, let's quickly check what does infrastructure as a code mean? Essentially, infrastructure as a code is a repeatable deployment process where the environment itself is deployed using code. So you're creating scripts, Ansible scripts, Puppet script, Chef script. Those are the examples that you probably know, where you are creating environments, spinning off environments, configuring it as part of a piece of code. And you're putting that through automation and repeatable deployment process so that are not required to manually create these instances or the infrastructure elements again and again. Whenever you need it, you essentially run your template. That's where the ISC template what comes, where, for example, let's imagine you work in a big organization and you have different requirements in terms of your employees, where certain employees need a standard Windows server, whereas others need a Linux server. And based on their roles and profile, you have different requirements. You can create templates for it. And instead of manually creating whenever a new user joins or a new requirement comes up, is based on what user profile is, you can pick up a template that matches that user profile, run through the your deployment tool, and create the infrastructure that is needed automatically. So that's the whole process. So the whole question here is essentially talking about what is the tool that we will use to manage and govern infrastructure using ISC code template. Now, if you run through the options, here I would like to go by elimination. If you look at option C, AWS organizations, you know that AWS organization is nothing to do with deployments or infrastructure as code templates. It's a central management console for all your accounts and resources. It can be used to enforce policies standard across your organization, but it cannot be used for deployment purpose. And in previous questions, we must have covered this already. But what you get out of AWS organizations is simplicity, structure to all the accounts that you have for AWS. From your organization, from your company perspective, get maybe volume discount, you get ease of billing, etc., but not deployment. So I will rule this option out. This is not a correct answer. Now, from the remaining three options, option A, AWS Resource Explorer. Now, the use of AWS Resource Explorer is gives you a graphical view of all your AWS resources, and it will help you understand how they are interconnected. So where is your EC2 instances, where is your storage, and it will provide you a kind of relationship diagram about all of those. So it will tell you where things are. It's not going to help you manage, govern, or do deployment using ISC templates. So that's again a wrong answer. So we'll rule that out. Now let's look at option B. Now, AWS Service Catalog, essentially that is the catalog of all your services. And one of the primary function for AWS Service Catalog is deployment using ISC template. So this is the service that enables you to create and manage your catalogs of approved IT services, including infrastructure as a code template. This allows you to centrally manage your cloud resources and ensures that they are deployed according to your organization's policies and standards. So this is the service which is your answer. This option is what we need. Now let's look at option D, AWS System Manager. Now, System Manager, this is a service that offers a wide range of capabilities for managing and automating your AWS infrastructure. It can be used to deploy and manage ISC templates, but it does not provide the same level of governance and control as AWS Service Catalog. So this is a wrong answer. The most appropriate answer for this particular question is AWS Service Catalog, which is option B. We got our answer. Let's quickly glance through some of the documentation that is related to the services that we have probably looking at first time. So the first one, the answer itself, which is AWS Service Catalog. And as you can see, the top level definition tells you that it is for creating, sharing, organizing, and governing your curated IC templates. So that's its purpose in life for this particular service. It quickly finds and deploys approved self-service cloud resources. You can also see how it works. Please pause the video or go to the links I'm going to provide you in the description of the video, and you could browse through these services, try to understand what is their prime function in the AWS context. So that's AWS Service Catalog for you. AWS System Managers. So as you can see, its primary function is managing your resources on AWS and multi-cloud hybrid environments. IC template deployment and governance is not its main function. It won't do that efficiently as well. If we go to the next one, AWS Resource Explorer, it's a search, and you can discover relevant resources across AWS. You get a view and relationship between your resources using this tool. Please go through all the links. Try to understand these services very well, so that if you get other questions around these services, you're able to answer. So that's it on this question. We'll move to the next question. Question number 62. Which AWS service or tool helps users visualize, understand, and manage spending and usage over time? And you can go through the options and also highlight the keyword. I hope you've done the due diligence. So we need a tool that helps you understand the usage of AWS services that you have in your account, visualize it, understand it, and then manage spending over the time. Now, look at the options that we have here. AWS organization. We've just, coming off question number 61, we are quite fresh. Some of the options here were in that particular question as well. So the basic objective or purpose of each of the service. Organizations is used to manage your accounts. If you have hundreds of accounts with AWS within your organization, to better manage them by departments, have a structure so that the management becomes easy. That's where AWS organization is used. It's not used for understanding the spending or visualizing the spending over time period. So that's wrong. So option A is incorrect. AWS pricing calculator. We haven't done this before, but what does AWS pricing calculator does is, suppose you are on-prem and you want to go to cloud. That basically you're thinking about it and you're creating proposals for it and you're doing a cost-benefit analysis. The cost element you would get in AWS price calculator, where you could go onto AWS price calculator using AWS console, and you can add your services saying, I want these many EC2 instances, I want S3 storage, I want DynamoDB with this much capacity. You put your requirements on high level, and it will tell you an estimation of what it would take for you to move to cloud. So this is your estimation tool when you want to move to cloud. This is not used when you are already in the cloud. The question wants you to tell that, yes, you're already in cloud, you're using a lot of resources, you have a lot of services, and in that case, what is the tool that will help you visualize, understand, and then effectively manage that usage over time? And maybe then you can plug in, if the tool tells you that you're using too much server capacity when it's not needed, then you could take the corrective actions, like let's not run the service, let's auto scale it down, or let's auto scale when we have a peak load. So basically, this is kind of an analysis tool to give you the insights, and then you can make decisions and take actions according to it. This option, pricing calculator, is not fitting this particular use case. It's for estimation. It's a wrong answer. Let's move on to the next one. Let's see what's the next one. Option C, AWS Cost Explorer. Now, I don't think we have done this in previous episodes, but this is the service that is what we need. It's a correct answer. If you read the definition of it, it helps users to visualize, understand, and manage their AWS cost and usage over time. It provides a variety of features, and it's a very good tool that you, as a cost-conscious user, will need to use it regularly. Because so let's imagine you are already on cloud, you have hundreds of AWS accounts, you are using thousands of resources, and this is the tool then you need, where you could have an administrator or somebody looking at it over weekly, monthly, quarterly period. It can provide visualization. It provides variety of charts, graphs that can be used to visualize your cost, usage over pattern, because you just don't want numbers, because numbers are difficult to visualize. If you get graphs where you see, okay, this is your high level usage from month 1 to month 12, January to December, and you could then draw conclusions where, November, I have a lot of usage. Okay, that coincides with Black Friday. December is high usage. That coincides with Christmas. So those graphs will help you visualize and understand and draw quick conclusions and take decisions based on what you know about in the context of the usage. It also provides you reports which you can then share in PDF format, CSV format, with anyone who needs to consume those and do not have access to all these tools. It can also provide analysis of cost and usage data, and it can also help you identify areas where you can save money. So this is the important part. It doesn't just show you things, but it can do analysis, and the reports are such that it can pinpoint you to a particular usage where it can probably help you understand. You have a server capacity which is like 70% never use, then you can implement some auto scaling to lower down the capacity when it's not needed, etc. Optimization, it helps you with optimization. It gives you a variety of recommendation, which is kind of linked with analysis, and all of this can help you save money without sacrificing any functionality or performance. So this tool is, if you want to stay in the game for in long run, this tool is a must for you. You should be using AWS Cost Explorer very carefully in order to control the cost, because if you will get great performance, scaling, all of that with AWS or any cloud service, but if you do not monitor your usage, you do not optimize or fine tune, could become a very costly proposition for you. So this is the correct answer. We've been looking at this service for the first time, hence I've done a bit of deep dive on it. And the last option, obviously, we got our answer. Option C, the last option is incorrect, which is AWS Service Catalog. We just recently done this in the previous question. It provides standardized approved IT services to user. It's a catalog of your IT services. We saw that in the previous question. It can be a solution for managing and governing deployment using IC templates. So for this use case, it's incorrect answer. So AWS Service Catalog is incorrect answer. And for this particular question, our answer is option C, AWS Cost Explorer. And we got this. Let's quickly have a look at some documentation. So here is a reference from AWS documentation where it tells you how you can analyze cost with AWS Cost Explorer. You could pause the video, go through it, or click on the link that you'll find in the video description. I have also done a small table of comparison for all the four options: AWS Organization Pricing Calculator, AWS Cost Explorer, Service Catalog, and by their purpose, function, and target audience. You can use this if you think you want to understand a bit more and in a comparative way. But previous analysis we did when we did elimination of sub option, that's sufficient from exam perspective. So that's it on this question. We'll move on to the next question. Question number 63, a company is using central data platform to manage multiple types of data for its customers. The company wants to use AWS service to discover, transform, and visualize data. Which combination of AWS service should the company use to meet this requirement? Choose to. Go through the question again, look at the options, try to find the answer from the available options. Pause the video if you like. All right, I've highlighted some keywords here. So what we need is we need a discover, transform, and visualize data service from AWS. It's not a single service, it's multiple services. This is effectively a SAA kind of a question, solution architect associate, where here they have asked it straight away, but you would probably get, when you move to SAA, you will get a scenario, and effectively you will give the same answer, maybe one more service. The options could be slightly complicated. So let's use elimination techniques. We'll try to get rid of obvious wrong options, and then we'll see what we have left, and then we'll try to choose the right options from that set. All right. So option C, according to me, it's a wrong option. It's a data warehouse solution. We cannot use it for discover, transform, and visualizing data. You can use it as a data source, but that's not the answer here. We want a tool which can work on the data source to discover and transform, which is basically your ETL, extract, transform solution, and something that you can then use the data, query data to visualize, which is a visualization solution. So this is neither a discovery or ETL or a visualization solution. So we will cross this option. Amazon Redshift is not the correct answer. Let's look at the others. Another one, which is a data source for me, Amazon Elastic File System. Now, again, it's a file storage. It's not used for ETL or visualization. So it's incorrect. Almost similar set of reasons why we eliminated option C. So B and C are incorrect. We are left with now AWS Glue, Amazon QuickSight, Amazon Quantum Ledger Database. Now this option E, Amazon Quantum Ledger Database, this is not used for discovery or ETL job or even for visualization. This option, Amazon QLDB, it's not a ETL or a visualization solution. It maintains an immutable and cryptographically verifiable log of data changes. So it's not a solution for ETL as well as visualization. Now come to the other two options. These are our two star services, and you would see this in SA quite often, along with the query solution Athena, and as well in data analytics. So I think example tip for you is AWS Glue is your service of choice when it comes to data discovery, automatically discovering the data from various sources. It cleans it, transforms it, prepares data for further analysis. So that's one answer that gives you the discovery and transform solution. So that's correct answer for us. Amazon QuickSight, that's your data visualization tool. It's a fully managed BI tool service that provides interactive visualization and dashboards to analyze visualized data. It can connect to various data sources. It can connect to S3. It can connect to Redshift. It can connect to RDS. And when you go for slightly complicated scenarios, you would like to probably use Athena as well as your query service. And these three tools can be used for data discovery, data querying, and then plugging that data into reports. QuickSight also provides reports which are shareable. So it's a great tool for visualizing and then doing analysis based on the visualization reports that you have created. So that's our answer, option A and option D. These are the answers for question number 63, where we are looking for a tool that's required for discovery and transformation and visualization of the data. So yeah, let's look at. We've been introduced to a lot of new services as well in this particular question. So let's look at that as well. In terms of exam tip, wherever you need a reporting solution and you have to do data discovery, go for Glue, Athena as your query service, and QuickSight as your data reporting solution, a BI solution. In this particular question, we don't have Athena because we don't have any query requirement, but you will find this trio being the solution in many cases for solution architect as well as data analytics specialty exam. In terms of documentation, Amazon QuickSight, as you can see, this is the most popular cloud native serverless BI service. So you need to know the purpose of it. There's a video here. Please go through it. It's a short video and it will give you an overview of what QuickSight is about. The second solution is AWS Glue. Here's the reference documentation. It's your extraction tool from AWS. Again, there's a video here. Go through it. You will get links for all of this in the video description later. And Amazon Athena, it's a petabyte scale analysis serverless query tool from AWS to query various data sources. So that's it on this question. Question number 64, a global company wants to migrate its third-party applications to AWS Cloud. The company wants to help from a global team of experts to complete the migration faster and more reliably in accordance with AWS's internal best practices. Please read the question, go through the options, and also mark your keywords. I hope you have done that. So the main keyword here is the company. There's a company and it wants to migrate its application to AWS Cloud, and it wants help from a global team of experts. So global team of experts is the main keyword. If you know the subject matter well, or if you've gone through this particular concept, then you wouldn't guess the answer straight away. But we'll go by elimination technique and see which answers are incorrect. So let's start. So let's go by elimination. The first option, option A, AWS support. AWS support is a paid service that provides technical support for AWS customers. It can be helpful for resolving technical issues. If you have some problem, you're not able to find the answers to this problem that you have with FAQs or forums, you might get in touch with AWS support, but it is not designed to help you migrate your application to AWS Cloud. If you're talking about a complete migration of your on-prem solution to AWS Cloud, and you do not have the expertise on hand within your organization to do this, AWS support is not the answer. So it's an incorrect answer. It's a very basic service. They can help you with queries and simple problems, not with a complete migration. So that's out. Let's look at option C, AWS Launch Wizard. Now, this is a tool that you have from AWS that can help you with provisioning and configuring of AWS resources. It is a good starting point if you are doing a very simple migration. You do not have too many resources or servers or application or databases to move. It's a good starting point for simple migrations, but it's not the answer for a major migration, which is what being described in this particular problem. So option C is ruled out, incorrect answer. Let's look at option D, AWS Managed Service. Now, this is a managed service that provides ongoing support for AWS workloads. You're already on-prem, and then you need some support in order to understand how can you optimize performance, cost, and security. But it's not specifically designed for application migration. This is more of an operational support you will get, and advisory support on top of whatever tools are available from AWS. So this is incorrect as well. So we left with option B, and that's the correct answer. AWS Professional Services, this is essentially the team of experts that you have at your hand from AWS. You have technical account managers, project managers, and behind that, for a particular customer or account, they have architects, developers who could help with all your migration and all your needs. You can have different level of support you need. Essentially, this would be your extended team that from AWS that you can get, and he can help you guide through the complete journey of AWS migrations. So this is the correct answer. But let's look at what all they provide as well. This is the global team of experts that can help companies of all sizes migrate their application to AWS Cloud. They have experience in wide variety of application, and it can help you plan, design, and execute your migration project. This AWS Professional Services can help you with assessing your current environment and application, develop a migration strategy, plan and execute migrations, test and validate your application in the AWS cloud, train your staff on how to operate application in the AWS cloud. In addition, AWS Professional Service can also help you to implement AWS best practices and ensure that your application are secure and compliant. So what you get essentially, you get a complete project or a program management team to work with you, obviously at a cost, who could take you through the whole cloud journey from initiating the project to completely handing it over to you from a BAU operational perspective, and also beyond that. So that's it. We got our answer. AWS Professional Services. That's option B. And this is, in a way, advertisement or promotion for AWS Professional team from AWS. So use them if you need it. Complex migration, you definitely need a team of experts on hand who could guide you through your complete AWS migration journey. That's it on this question. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 65. A developer wants to deploy an application quickly on AWS without manually creating the required resources. Which AWS service will meet these requirements? Please read the question, go through the options, try to find the correct answer from the available options. Hope you've done that. The keywords here are: a developer wants to deploy an application quickly and without manually creating required resources. So some sort of automated solution or ready solution is what we are looking for. Let's use elimination technique to get rid of the wrong answers, and then we'll figure out what's the correct answer for this particular question. So let's look at option D. Amazon personalize. Now, this is nothing to do with quick deployment or automated deployment. This is a machine learning service for personalized recommendation, and it's not relevant for application deployment. This service, if you want to know more about it, you can read through it, and I'll probably provide you a link in the description. But it's for personalized recommendation. So if you're talking in terms of sales based on the products that you have purchased, it would recommend you other products that could be of your interest based on what you have been purchasing, what's your demographics, what your profile. Uh, if you're talking about, say, watching videos on services like Prime Video or Netflix or Disney, the personalized recommendation could be based on what genres of movie you're watching, or stars, or age group, and you would get recommendation around that. And this particular service can help you with that. But yeah, it's a wrong option in terms of this particular question. The next one that appears to be absolutely wrong for me is option A, Amazon EC2. Now, EC2, obviously, you get your server, you can use it as your virtual machine, but you have to do everything on it. You will need to manually create the instance. You have to configure the instance. You'll have to set up all the networking for it, and you'll have to also, procure other resources for it. So it's a wrong answer for me. Amazon EC2, option A, is also incorrect. In our use case, the developer wants to deploy an application quickly. So he wants something that's ready to use, not really, he doesn't want to cook all the ingredients to get the final product. So option A is wrong. Let's look at what is left now. So option C and option B, they kind of look relevant. But option C, AWS code build, even the names suggest that it's something to do with deployment, but it's not. It's a continuous integration service for building and testing application. It's not specifically meant for deployment. And I will provide some links in the video description for you to go through this particular service. But it's the primary job is not for deployment. It's for, as I mentioned, testing and building the application. We are left with the AWS Beanstalk, and obviously that's the only answer left. So that will be the correct answer. So AWS Beanstalk is correct answer for us on this particular question. Now, AWS Beanstalk gives you pre-configured environments. It automatically creates and manages underlying infrastructure like EC2 instances, load balancers, security groups. In terms of deployment options, it supports deployment from Git repositories, Amazon S3 buckets, or zip files. Beanstalk streamlines deployment processes, making it perfect choice for the developer aiming for a quick and hassle-free deployment without any manual resource creation. Option B, Elastic Beanstalk, is the most suitable option for the developer's requirement here for deploy my application quickly and not creating any manual resources. So that's our answer. I will provide you some links for these new services, which you can use to go through and learn more about the objective of all of these services to help you better understand the services and answer any future question on these topics. So that's it. That's it on this question. Our answer is option B, AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Let's look at some of the reference documentation. So here is AWS Elastic Beanstalk Service. This was the answer for our question. As you can see, its main objective is deploy and scale web applications. And if you look at underneath, it is used to upload and deploy web application in a simplified and fast way. Developers can focus on writing code instead of provisioning and managing infrastructure. So that was what was necessary for us. The next one is code build. This is a build and test code with automatic scaling, a related service, but not necessarily for deployment, and you won't get the flexibility that you would get with Elastic Beanstalk. So that's our second service. Another new one that came across was Amazon Personalize. So those were the reference pages from AWS for you. That's it on this question. That brings us to the end of this episode.
This is exam tricks and tips.